If you have a toddler, chances are you have experienced meltdowns. The screaming, the biting, the kicking, the stomping. While this is a normal part of childhood development, it can be very frustrating as a parent. So knowing what to do and what not to do during this outburst can make a huge difference. Hi, I'm Dr. Lamfundi. In this video, we're going to talk about why tantrums happen, what not to do, what to do, and how you can help your child go through this and help them self-regulate in the future. So you want to watch till the end so that you can leave being more confident and less overwhelmed when your toddler is throwing a tantrum. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get into it. Now, why do tantrums happen? When a trigger happens, whether it's an unexpected event, usually, whether it's they're playing with a toy and it breaks, they're trying to put on their shoes, it's not working, you gave them the wrong cup, or something happens that is unexpected. In their little brains, they see that unexpected event as a threat. And once their brain sees it as a threat, it puts them in that fight or flight or survival mode. The language goes away, reasoning goes away. They just have this big feelings that's rising up on the inside. And they don't know what to do with it. Now, even if you have a kid who knows how to talk, at that point, they don't have the words for those big feelings. So they end up just stomping and biting and kicking and throwing stuff. And we can even see that as adults, where sometimes, even as an adult, when you get upset or you get angered by something, everything goes out. If someone is trying to talk to you, you're not hearing anything. It goes in one ear, comes out the other ear. And it's hard to really talk and reason things out when you're in that heated phase. And it's the same thing for the kids. Now, knowing why this happens in that state of mind at that point, now we're going to talk about what not to do when your toddler is going through that. I already said their reasoning and language goes out the door. So trying to talk to them or talk to them through that phase then is going to backfire. Because when you think about it, at that point, they're frustrated, they're angry, you're getting frustrated. You're going to stand over them and try to explain. They're not hearing you, but your whole demeanor and standing over them is causing more overwhelm and making the situation worse. Sometimes we try to yell and tell them to stop already. Guess what? They're already in survival mode. They're already scared. So yelling makes it worse, escalating it even worse. I've also seen parents who say, just stop it already. It's not that bad. You're being bad right now and stuff. That's really shaming their feelings. They don't know how to control it, but you're shaming them for not knowing how to control it. And that makes them feel bad about that situation, which makes it feel even worse. And of course, spanking, which I've seen quite a few people do, is obviously not the best way to deal with that situation because they're in that phase. We're spanking, teaching them aggression. And guess what? Down the line, if they're angry or upset, they have that feelings, they resort to boxing, punching, and all of that stuff, which you don't want your kid doing. And finally, timeout. Oh, a lot of parents I've seen, they say, oh, I put them in timeout and it doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work because your kid is in such distress and they want guidance, not putting them away. That feels more like rejection. It's like, I need help. I don't know what to do with these feelings. And then as a parent, we're putting them out is like rejection, isolating. So usually that doesn't work. So those are the things we don't want you doing when they are in that phase of that tantrum phase. Then what can you do then? Knowing all of this, then what can we do? First, you want to be calm because being calm is contagious. You're regulating yourself, thereby modeling to them how to regulate themselves during the tantrum. So just sitting there and being calm. Now, if you have a kid who's maybe biting or kicking or throwing stuff, you may want to be short but brief, be firm, where you say, no biting, biting hurts. We're not going to throw toys. We're not going to hurt ourselves. So if if you have a kid who's escalating to that phase, you can maybe remove them from an area where they can hurt themselves. So you want to make sure that they're safe. Now, if you're removing them from that area or making sure they're safe, if you're going to a new area, you want to go there with them because you want to make sure they're safe, but you also want to be around them so that they can see that I see you, I'm here from you. But you sit there and you're quiet and you wait. You wait for that, all of that to kind of calm down. You wait for them to start trying to regulate themselves without saying anything further. Now, unless they are actively trying to hurt themselves by bite or hurt others, of course, you want to be firm and redirect. Now, sometimes if they're biting or they're kicking, you can either be firm as you're being firm, redirecting by saying, can you stomp your feet instead? Or why don't you squeeze or hug on a pillow or a teddy bear or bite on something else and not people? So that redirection is giving them something else to do to get that out. Now, once you sit in that room, maybe on the floor at eye level with them, knowing that, telling them that you are there, you see them, but you're not trying to explain anything. You're just watching. Once you watch and you start noticing that their breathing is now calm, once they're active in that phase, your breathing is all over the place, your body is tight, and you start noticing that they're relaxing more. Their breathing is calm. And sometimes you have some kids who will still a little look at you to kind of see, are we still there? And as you notice that they're calming down, that's when you open up your arms to them. Do you want a hug? Or do you want to sit next to me? Do you want to go out of the room? Or you give them the options to come back and kind of help them de-escalate. So those are the things to do when the tantrum happens. Now, hours later or a few minutes later, where we're all calm, we're reset, and we're back into our activity, we'll find a moment to help them now to kind of go over the event. Okay, you label it. You were angry when I took your iPad away, or you were angry when your toy broke, or you were angry when whatever it was that triggered whatever that unexpected event was that triggered the action. We're labeling it. Then you can give them something else. Next time when this happens, why don't you try stomping your feet instead? Why don't you try taking nice deep breaths instead? Why don't you try hugging your teddy bear instead? Or why don't you try biting something instead? That gives them an alternative to do when that thing happens. And you can also offer to role play with them. You want to sit with me so we can take nice deep breaths and practice it? You want to hug a pillow tight and let's see how it happens? Or do you want to stomp your feet with me and stuff? That way you're practicing and role modeling the behaviors for the kids to exhibit during those tantrum periods. And keep in mind that it's not like a one time and they're going to get it. It's practice. It takes repetition. It takes a lot of practice. But as you continue to teach them and reinforce it, those tantrums will become shorter and shorter, and the behaviors, then they will learn how to redirect energy into something else where they're not hitting, they're not biting, and they're not throwing furniture. Imagine if you see your toddler in a tantrum stomping their feet. How rewarding is that going to be? Yes, it is a marathon, not a one-time fix. And also, finally, you want to remember that tantrum is not an indication of your parenting. It doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean that the kid is bad either. It's just the child is growing, the child is learning, and the child is trying to figure it out. And as you learn to be calm, and as you learn to redirect and guide them through that, you're teaching them self-regulation skills with empathy, and you're teaching them resilience as well, where as you have those small wins, they also result in big and huge changes. It is hard, I know, but that's the heart of parenting, and it is worth it. I hope you found this video helpful. Like, share, and subscribe. And also don't forget to share it with a parent who has a toddler who is getting them all frustrated. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Loom.